All right, buddy, you ready? Come on. So we've already been here playing fetch. Otis has done his deeds. We're just out for our day to get him his daily exercise. Just our usual little spot here. Fairly calm today, actually on a Wednesday even, that it's not real busy as it usually is. All the aircraft that usually pass by have not been around. I hear one somewhere. There's a school right over here, so they got regular air traffic. That's what I was gonna do, but I actually got a letter that FAA, sorry, stupid letters. That's a completely different organization. The FAA denied my stuff because of my PTSD. Apparently that's, I don't know. So I am working on leaving now, this area. I'll be going just to Vietnam. It'd been nicer having a, pilot's license. I could have found a job there to stay working. I could have got a work visa or something over there to be able to be there longer. I probably could have been able to leave the country and come back without having to redo my visa like you normally would. But that's all right. It's a minor detail. I'd have to go to the VA there about every 3 months anyway for some type of checkup. So I'll just do that and then go to redo my visa anyway while I'm there. Minor inconvenience. Just been in a bit of a plateau type thing. I haven't really progressed or been progressing on anything. Not that it's necessarily a bad thing. That means I've improved enough to where, you hit a little plateau, you wait for a while, then start to build up. So we just decided to come play a little earlier than we normally do, especially it's getting warmer. I got some trimmers coming to where I can get him trimmed up. He finds whatever little shade he can. So that's the best he's got out here. He gets hot quick. He's got 2 coats. So we will get him trimmed up. But I'm not taking the ball. I'm just giving you some lovin's. Make it a little easier for him. Yeah, he gets hot real quick. So those should be here today. We'll give him trimmed and needs a bath. I have to get him. I think there's some spray you can use to kind of clean him without having to. So there's nowhere to actually give him a bath here without me taking him somewhere. And I don't know, paying $100 for someone to bathe my own dog is a little weird to me, but I'll figure that out here. So we just walked away from all of our stuff earlier. Want to make it a little cooler for him, and I just need. There's a plane now. Needed a break from what I was doing because I was just kind of stuck, being frustrated. So I'll go back and get back to work. I've been working on the digital paint. I'm supposed to do photography yesterday, but I got stuck trying to figure out digital painting. Trying to figure out the colors now. I kind of get the concepts of them, of basic art of. I just it looks flat and the colors are very bad. So I got to work on my colors and things and all those, and so it's good to just take a break and walk away. They have lots of studies about how that stuff, as I've mentioned before, is just good for you. Just to take a break from something for a few minutes and come back and you can think about it. I still haven't come up with a video. I'm not sure about what I guess this channel should be. It'll probably be more of a vlog once I get to Vietnam, just my day-to-day life. Be, I guess, somewhat of entertainment, talk about things, try and help anyone who'd like to go and travel at all to things to know, as I've watched some videos on it already of, just good for, hey, don't go here, don't, there's mainly the airports, there's a lot of taxis you don't want to take. People who say they're taxis, and they'll apparently just kind of take you somewhere and drop you off. Like, it won't even be where you need to go. That's stuff like that's good to know. That's the kind of thing I think I'd be more into once I get over there, is just showing you, like, basically the don'ts. Because that's the main thing I always want to know, at least. I want to know what not to do. I don't really care what you think I should do. Like, I'll decide what I want to do. But I mean, I can show some of that, but I'm more into what shouldn't I do. Like what's gonna get me in trouble, or anything that's like a scam type thing. But until I get there, I guess I'll just keep up on. I think more something for me to do here, because since I can't find a job around in the area, and I can't get into school now for what I was wanting to do. I could probably change my thing, but I don't really want to stick around to want to do something I don't want to do, because I really don't think college is all that important. The only reason why I was going to college is because this place had a flight school. That's what I was wanting to do, but since I apparently can't do that with my PTSD, which is odd thing, guess I'll just have to find something else to do. But I got lots of other interests and things, so that's all right. I'll get back to the dog here, play with him for a minute, I'll come back to you. All right, he is content on resting for a minute now. He's probably quite warm because we haven't really played that much. I just think he's just warm, so I'll let him rest there for a while until he decides he's ready to chase again. So, on to plateauing. When life kind of stalls out on you like that I find is, in particular, as I've discussed in previous videos, that is to stay persistent in what you're doing, as that's when procrastination can also easily sneak up on you. Because if you kind of gets dull for you and it lags out, that you take, you're like, I'm just going to stop doing this for a while. And it's kind of a hard thing. You also got to figure out if that's, maybe you need a change. But if it's something, you're just starting, like I'm doing, like, you can't just decide to stop doing it. Whereas, say, for the digital art thing is a thing I can keep doing in photography. I've been looking for things to shoot around as well for photography, because it's outside my comfort zone. So it's probably something I should do. So that's why I'm trying to find something to do, something to shoot. As I say, I like like astrophotography and landscape photography. Those are the things I actually interested in, especially like it's easier to take him. It's kind of hard around because say he's my service dog and he's a bit of a wild service dog, and it's hard to take him somewhere where he can be and be comfortable, and I can do my photography. But also, it's just stuff I'm not interested in, like portrait photography or like of people or like buildings and things. And it is a good thing to learn photography of buildings and things. With that and the drone, you can actually make say good money doing that. So that's something I should look into doing. That's something I could do while I'm in Vietnam to be paid. So that's an option I can do. But just practicing even is good. Even if it's say something you're not comfortable with, can help you be better at other things you want to do, like landscape photography. It's kind of the basics in photography, from what I'm understanding, is like finding the frames and what is it, bud? Dog's staring at something. And you want your what do they call it? Your composition and everything. It can convert over and to some degree. So if anything, doing one will make me better at the other, even if it's not something I would like to do for a living. And I think he's ready to have this ball thrown again. Oh, nope, he just... Okay, I won't touch the ball. You can go sniff whatever it is. He's just wanting to go check something out, I guess. He wasn't ready. He usually stands up when he's ready, but as you immediately laid back down and guards his ball. Like, I want to play with it, but I don't want you to touch it. But to my point of sticking to something when you're first starting is when you hit a plateau, as you will, it's a natural thing to just keep at it, even if it's just a little bit a day. Like I'll spend at least 10 minutes a day doing something, because even that, like, they find in small increments, you actually learn better just doing smaller increments instead of spending like, I need to study for 6 hours. Like, if you just spend like a half hour to an hour, you're gonna learn better than trying to cram a whole like day's worth of stuff. And I'll break that up. So I'll do like a 10-minute thing when I get bored or something, or it's frustrating me, and I'll wait an hour or so to come back, do another 10 minutes, and I'll break that up throughout the day, because then I'm still progressing, albeit at a slower pace. And whereas my flight, that I kind of, I do need to move on from, because I'm in my 40s, and for me to try and like all the stuff they told me no for, really, they weren't going to allow me to get a license. That try to fight them on, like how many years do I want to spend doing that? Because I think I'd have to wait a year again before I can even reapply or something like that. Like, yeah. So that, whereas that I need to, and normally I've been better at it. I just kind of said, oh, well, I guess that's done. I'd normally have been pretty pissed off because of my PTSD when I freaked out on them and stuff. But so in that regard, I have made improvement in that I just kind of accepted it and moved on. So it's kind of a thing that, when you need to move on from something, and when, hey, I'm just bored. That's kind of hard to decide. I can't really give an example of, because there's so many variables involved, and that it'd be hard for me to give any examples for anyone to. That's kind of something you'd have to decide on your own. And all that helps when you say go through all your whys and things in life and where you're at in your stage of life, and it, like all these little videos I'm putting out, that it's basically all the things I'm discussing where I'm at in my life. Dog's eating grass. He's gonna puke when we get back, I'm sure. Yeah, it'll be fun. Yeah, this will probably be more of a vlog type thing when I get to Vietnam, and I'll still try and put out my stoic thoughts on life, which I do believe Stoicism probably should be more of a topic taught in school, for that, because a lot of the problems I think a lot of people have is reacting to things that are temporary, like emotions. And I say it normally, especially with PTSD, that with being denied being able to learn to fly is normally would really piss me off. Like even a year ago, I don't know, probably would have broke something, like smashed something in anger, but when I got that, I was just like, okay, well, I guess that's done. So, at least in that regard, I've made a progress in life. I didn't get to ever learn to fly like I wanted to. That was kind of like a childhood dream. I always wanted to be a bush pilot, so. And I had the GI Bill I could use, so maybe I'll find something to do with it. If not, I can give it away to somebody else to use. I got a friend who has a little girl. I like her. She can, maybe I'll see if she gets up. She needs help with college. I haven't used it. I'll just see if I can sign it over for her to use. I don't know if they gotta be a relative of yours or not. I'm not really sure. I just heard about you can do that. So yeah, today's kind of a little update. Again, I haven't had any structured videos that I've thought of that, try and say, I think those are really more for me to work things out in my head that have been stuck in there for a while. And kind of my feelings on things. I haven't been on to look at what's going on in the world lately for the news to have any thoughts on that to share. If anyone just, I think, take that time to kind of drop their ego, I think is the main thing anyone needs to do in a situation, is let go of your ego and your pride and look at something, objectively, which I find that, a lot of people get mad about when somebody, like a third party, gets involved, talks about somebody, like about something about, a relationship or, something to do with their kids, and they're like, well, what did you know? Like, you're not part of it. But the thing a lot of people don't understand is when you're outside of a situation and you're not emotionally attached, they can see some things and perspectives that you can't. So they shouldn't be dismissed, because I don't have kids. And I've been told that a lot when I see people do something. I make a mention like, maybe you should try this with your kid. Like, oh, well, what the hell do you know? Like, you don't have any kids. It's like, yeah, but you're doing a lot of things that messed me up as a child that, my parents did. And I see your kid react in the same way I did. Not just trying to share something with you. Like, it's just a thought. You don't have to get upset about it. Like, or I see people just doing things that are just going to destroy, their relationships. Or they get involved in, like, especially in the military, they get involved in stupid relationships. Like, yeah, she's going to cheat on you. Yeah, you want to get married because you want to get out of the barracks, but you're going to come back to like a kid that's not yours, and they get all mad. But he's like, especially in the military, that's pretty common occurrence. So it's just, I was never in relationships, so everyone's always like, well, what do you know? You don't date people. It's like, well, it doesn't mean I can't see the problems occur, but just thoughts on things. And I guess I always had that. It's pretty good at observing things. As that's all I would ever do. I never cared to be involved in any way in that stuff, but I'm gonna go check on the dog here. He's over here choking because he's eating grass. A little dork. I'm coming. I'll come back again. So, man, you guys hauling, I don't know if you've seen them, bunch of hay. Completely loaded. I'd hate driving behind that guy. Don't know why I see so many truck drivers here that just don't cover their loads. Like, especially when they haul gravel. I've had so many windshields just get messed up because, let me just haul a bunch of gravel and go down the freeway and not cover it and just destroy cars behind me. Anyway, back to try to get to a closing here. If you're able to get away from when you say you hit a plateau, just get out, do a little. And I kind of beat the horse on this, but like meditation. And again, you don't have to sit cross-legged and do a chant. Like just coming here and sitting like I am now can be meditation. I just sit here when I'm not talking to the camera here, that I'll just sit and listen and focus on my breathing. Watch the dog just enjoy himself being outside. It's just bringing yourself to being in that moment and not focusing on all the things that are bothering you. That's all it takes. And a lot of people are weird about it. They think, you gotta do all this stuff, and there's still this still a stigma about it. Like, there's still a stigma about doing therapy, especially if you're a guy. It's just like a weird thing. Like, I ain't doing that crap. But the stuff is good for you. Like, it shouldn't be. The thought, especially I think it's for guys, it makes you weak in some way to do those things. Or it's girly, or is, like, I got a cousin who's just completely mentally deranged that he needs a lot of therapy, but he'll say he won't do therapy because that's for bitches. Like, I ain't doing that shit. Okay. But he's 50 years old. He acts like he's a real tough guy. He's never even left the state he's been born in, but one time. So it's he's never really been anywhere, never done it. He's been, living off Social Security for I don't know how long, but I won't get into too much of his stuff. It's just he acts like he's the biggest, baddest person ever walked the face of the earth because his dad was a Green Beret. So he thinks he's real tough. It makes absolutely no sense to anyone's logic, but that's just how he acts. And so yeah, there's plenty of times where therapy ain't gonna hurt you, and meditation is not gonna hurt you. And say that Stoicism is really what that is too. Is people who like Stoicism, they think Stoicism's manly and tough, and it's really the same thing as therapy, because therapy will teach you the same stuff. Don't react to your emotions. Don't just react to something that's temporary, it's a permanent thing. It teaches really the same things. Let's say taking that time when you get stuck on something or something's bothering you and it's upsetting you, to take time, walk away from it, take your mind off it for a few minutes and come back, is going to be a lot better than doing something immediately. And that's something I think everyone's guilty of, even to a lesser extent. If, not everyone's as bad as most, as obviously, but hey, come here. He's over there. I think he's trying to roll in poop. I don't know why dogs do that, but as I digress here. Yeah, so just find the time at some point, even in the day, to get away from all your distractions. I think is always good. Even if get to work early. Because I would always try to get to work at least 15 minutes early. Because that way, if one military upbringing, yeah. But also it's helpful for if you happen to run into traffic and you're shooting to be 15 minutes early, something comes up, right? You'll still be on time. Because that's another thing I find that a lot of people, especially here, seem to always be in a rush, like they're late to work. Like, well, you probably should have left earlier, because if you rush to work, because you're going to be late, get in an accident or get pulled over, well, then now you're really going to be late. So yeah, if you can get to work early even, and it's a job that's frustrating, and you can have that time in your car to just kind of mentally prepare yourself for the day, I guess, as it were, that, hey, okay, try and relax, try and think, as I've mentioned in another video, that, hey, if this happens, what can I do to make it better? This. I try and come up with 3, things for everything. Or more or less, whatever works for you. Or maybe it's a situation of, hey, this is the thing to be done for it. So like, I need to have this form filled out. Like maybe get that form and pre-fill it out. Maybe have that, something like that done, just in case. So hey, it takes less time for you when that occurs. And there's a saying that I always like, that 10 minutes of preparation can save you an hour's worth of work down the road. So, something like that, like, hey, I need this stuff done for this stuff. That's why I always like staging things and having things ready to go just in case, or when I'd work jobs like that. And people would always get annoyed about when I try and push it on them. But then when the scenarios came up, and we needed those things, and they were already prepped in some way, that, hey, wow, that was a lot easier. And then when they didn't do the stuff again, restage it, re-prep the stuff, and then it came up again, it's like, oh, now we got to get all this stuff together. It's like, well, now you see why I do it. But, a lot of them were kids. So, it was like some of their first or second jobs that they didn't really get it. They just wanted to get home and play their video games. But, that's not really ever gonna change. That's gonna be something that goes on for as long as humans are around. That young kids don't want to listen to the older guys. I'm sure plenty of things I could think of where I didn't listen to the older guys, that I could mention that, like, yeah, everyone's guilty of that. But take that time, find something to do with yourself for the day that can take your mind off it. It doesn't matter what it is. Like, I like come here because I like quiet. Well, as quiet as I can get it with the freeway there, these guys over here working on a bunch of concrete stuff, various things. They must just make that stuff or something, but yeah, as quiet as I can get it. That's my thing. Like, if your thing's like listen to music, go ahead and do that. Whatever takes your mind off your problems is all. Have that. Work out a schedule somewhat. Like, hey, if I can get 10 minutes on lunch or before work, after work, before I go home, whatever. Have that on your drive home, whatever it is. But just try to work things out in a rational manner is all I'm saying. I say, take that time to step away from something that's bothering you. Don't just dive into it, and don't complain about it, as I say, because you'll only make yourself more mad at the situation. So we'll finish up here, and I'll get him back to his stuff. Should be in the mail by now to get him trimmed up, and I'll see if I can find some way to bathe him. You have a good day.